Welcome to the Dray Way. I am so glad you guys are here. We are just 28 days away. 28 days away from the election, and I couldn't be more excited. And we have a great show because we have so much to talk about. But before I even get started, I have a question I got to ask you because this makes absolutely no sense to me. And I don't know if you saw what happened yesterday. But please explain to me, somebody in the comments, somebody explain to me, you're the governor of Florida. You're about to get hit by a record hurricane. It's going to absolutely devastate your state, all right? Your own constituents. Many of them are going to lose everything, and they're going to need the help of the federal government. The vice president of the United States calls you, the vice president who happens to be running for president and in all likelihood going to win and be president of the United States. And you say, no, I'm not taking that call. She's playing politics? Are you out of your mind? Are you completely nuts? She is literally running and probably going to be the president of the United States, and you just put her off. When it will be her administration, because anybody that knows anything about hurricanes, a cat 4, 5, whatever this ends up being, that's about to slam into Florida, is going to absolutely devastate the areas in Florida that it strikes. We're talking about it could be hundreds of miles of Florida devastated. And you know what you did as governor? You just said, no, that's okay. I'm not going to talk to her. And it's her administration that is going to probably be sending aid because Florida will be in need for years. That's the kind of hurricane this is. This will devastate things for years. But I know, I'm getting over passionate, but let me know what you think in the comments. Am I crazy? Or wouldn't you pick up that phone knowing full well that there's a good chance she could be president and her administration are the exact people that you're going to be talking to help your state? Let me know in the comments. And by the way, welcome to the Dray Way. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. 28 days. 28 days until the election. Does that blow your mind or what? I know. We've been counting down since 50 days away, and here it is 28 days away. And by the way, if you haven't seen the other shows, check them out. But another thing, I mean, I don't want to keep rambling, but another thing that's driving me crazy. See if you've noticed the same thing I have. One of the parties, the Republican Party, keeps talking about something to kind of like turn it into something or try to make it real. Have you noticed that? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. The Republican Party keeps talking about crime. They keep talking about how unsafe it is to be in America, all the crime that's going on, and crime is way up, and crime this and crime that, and it's not true. It's not true. by any measure, by anything that you got. See, we keep statistics on that thing. And as a matter of fact, crime is actually way down. And I mean way down. So it's like, what are they doing? What are they talking about? Why are they trying to create something that isn't there? And it's not, like I said, it's not hard to figure out it's not there. It's not hard to look at the actual data from different sources, including the FBI itself. And you find out that, well, wait a minute, crime is actually way down. So what is this all about? You got to be, if you're not asking yourself, you should be asking yourself, wait a minute, what is this really all about? Well, this is all about polling. And you're like, polling? What does polling have to do with it? The Republicans know that when you feel unsafe, when you feel uneasy about your predicament, you're willing to change or do something different. So let me make sure you understand this. It doesn't matter that it's real. It doesn't matter that it's not true. The Republicans just simply want to make you feel that way. Yeah, they literally want to make you feel uncomfortable, unsafe. And that's why they're going on with this whole nonsense of, oh, crime is everywhere, crime is terrible, crime is way up. No, none of that is actually true. Crime is actually down. But again, before I just start going crazy, let me know what you think. I want to see what you have to say in the comments, because facts matter, right? Yeah, I think we can agree on that. All right, let's get started. We have a lot to talk about. People always need some type of help with a website. At the end of this, you're going to notice a template. I'm going to give you a free template to get your own website. It's absolutely free, no cost to you. The link is right at the end of this. So check it out. It's your way to get your free website template. So please, just go right here or go to the thing at the end and get your free website template. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'd love to help you. The important thing in this election is that we have to talk about the truth. We have to talk about what's real and what's not real. And the reason that we have to do that is because an election is finite. An election is like, this is the way it is. You won, you lost. It's really that simple. But it's not that simple now that you have Republicans trying to change what's real and what is factual. They're literally trying to make us feel unsafe about our own election. But this is the thing that you need to understand. If you're a Republican, and I would, by the way, I would love to know why you're Republican. If somebody's a Republican, you're watching this, please let me know in the comments why you're Republican. I would love to know the reason, because I can't think of one. But if you have a reason, I would love to know what it is. But this is the reality of the election. Donald Trump has an extremely difficult path to 270. And when I say he has an extremely difficult path, he has to win Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. And then he's going to need one more state, like he needs Arizona or, I don't know, Wisconsin. Yeah, he has to literally run the table on states that he didn't win last time. And he's not going to win this time. So, and what does Harris have to do? She's got to win one. She just has to win Pennsylvania, Georgia, or North Carolina. She just has to win one of them. And she's a lock. Because we all know with Minnesota and Tim Walz being in Minnesota right next to Wisconsin, Wisconsin's pretty conveniently going to go blue. And same thing with Michigan. And so that's how easy her election is. She wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and it's over. The election is done. So his path is extremely difficult. His path involves having to almost run the table. And that's just not likely to happen. So what do the Republicans try to put in their bag? Well, what they're trying to put in their bag is, we've been robbed. We've been ripped off. We have polls that say we were way ahead. Just so you know, a lot of those polls are strictly for that reason. You know, Rasmussen poll isn't accurate whatsoever. Rasmussen poll there's no truth in that poll whatsoever. But that poll is, after the election and they lose, they can say, oh, wait a minute, we were way ahead. Look at the Rasmussen poll. We were way ahead. What's going on here? We were robbed. No, you weren't robbed. You just got fewer votes. And that's a fact, because Republicans won't change their ideas. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what their ideas. Do you know what Republican ideas even are? I mean, we all know they just want to cut taxes for rich people, but beyond that, do you ever hear about Republicans talking about doing things for America, changing things, having plans to actually make America better, infrastructure plans, healthcare plans? Do they ever have any of those things? No. So I just want you to understand, here we are walking into the election, and I want you to fully understand that Donald Trump has a very, very narrow path for victory. And it's, with the current conditions, it's going to be almost impossible. And the reason that I say that is, and I've talked about this before, and I'll say it again, in all likelihood, Republicans will never see the White House again. And I mean that. You will never see the White House again. And that's because of the abortion and going after women's rights. It's their body. It's their choice. You can't force them, especially you can't have the government forcing them to do what the government wants them to do. And doing it state by state is even worse, because now women's rights change according to where they live. Yeah, I don't know that makes sense to anyone. But just know this, until the abortion ruling changes, until you Republicans get off that, you are never going to win the White House again. But let me know what you think. We're 28 days out, and people are already starting to vote. But the big election is coming up in just 28 days. Let me know what you think. Welcome to the Dray Way. We got more to talk about. Lastly, I want to talk about future President Harris, our current vice president. I want to talk about her right now because she's been doing interviews, and believe it or not, folks, she is just fine doing interviews. She's very articulate. She's very smart. She answers the questions. It's not a big deal. Are people trying to make a big deal out of it? Yeah, but she's been following her plan, and her plan is clearly working because she's winning. She's winning, and we know she's winning because she's opening offices up in Florida. She wouldn't be opening offices up in Florida if she didn't think she was winning. But that's not my point. My point is that, she's doing the Howard Stern show today. She did another podcast, a podcast that reaches out to millions of women. And of course, the mainstream media doesn't like it. And I could care less. Sometimes the mainstream media wants to make this election about them because they want ratings. It's about money to them. All right? Well, with Harris, it's not about, she doesn't care about the money. What she's trying to do is she's trying to reach a certain particular group of people. And in this case, she's talking to a woman's podcast that reaches millions and millions and millions of women. So why wouldn't you do an interview on that? Why wouldn't you talk directly to women and say, look, this election is about you. This election is about your rights, and it's about you standing up for your rights. And she's 100% correct. And she's 100% correct going on these podcasts, because that's how a lot of us get entertained and watch I'll be the first one to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I love doing YouTube. This YouTube channel of mine, I every day I say thank you, because this to me is so much fun. And I get to sit back and I get to look at your comments. We get to talk back and forth. You guys get to tell me more about what you want to see, and I can't wait to give it to you. I mean, I can't wait to get better at this. I'm pretty new at this whole YouTube thing. So I'm learning, growing, and you guys are helping me along the way. And all I can say is thank you. But that's how a lot of us now are entertained and get our information, is by shows like this or podcasts. And by the way, in December, I have my own podcast, The Dray Way Unchained. Don't tell anybody, but it's going to be like the first week of December, and it's going to be The Dray Way Unchained. Anyway, like I was saying, so these media companies are all upset and they're all angry. Well, we want her to have a sit down with us. Well, she needs to sit down and answer the tough questions. First of all, the tough questions she's already answered. You've asked the same tough questions over and what about Israel? 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 You've asked that question 1,000 times now. That's your tough question, media. The media keeps going. We want to answer. We want to ask the tough question. What about Gaza? What about Israel? I know you guys have asked that question 100 times. So look, I love the fact that she went on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes is, I mean, come on. That's a very serious news organization. And she did fantastic. But I want you to notice one thing. Donald Trump didn't go on 60 Minutes. Why is that? Well, because 60 Minutes prides itself on giving out factual information. And they were going to fact check Donald Trump right then and there as he spoke. And yeah, he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle that because they're running a campaign that isn't based on truth. They're running a campaign that's based on fantasy land that they want to create. And that's not what 60 Minutes is about. So he couldn't do an interview on 60 Minutes because they weren't going to allow him to get away with pure nonsense. So again, to Harris, another point for you, a job well done. And guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the interviews. I can't wait to hear it. But that's it for the Dray Way. We're 28 days out. If you want to see another episode, check out the other episodes. And don't forget to check out the Dray Way tomorrow. We'll be just 27 days out. Until then, I'll see you later.